and today I have a super exciting video. In today's video, we are going to build the 2024 budget build. That's right, any pilot who's looking to get into FPV, or maybe you're in FPV and you want another quadcopter, you don't have to break the bank. For $150, we are going to build an awesome Freestyle FPV drone. And something very important I want to touch on, all this stuff isn't from Banggood or AliExpress or Alibaba, none of that. These are local parts right here in the US. I'm going to show you how to build this quadcopter for $150. We're going to walk through the whole build, the parts, how to put it together, and then we're going to take it to the sky, and you guys are not going to want to miss this. Let's go. All right, pilots, so here's the deal. Everything that I have here, and we're going to go over it here in a second, you can substitute. And you may want to use some of these companies that are overseas, and that's okay. I'm going to put links for everything down in the video description. I love Banggood, and I love AliExpress, but I didn't want you to have to wait 30 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get your parts. This is stuff that I'm building right now, right here. You can order and have to your house in just 2 days. And there may be things you want to splurge a little bit, right? So my motors, they're only 13 bucks. They're going to work great, but maybe you want to spend 15 bucks and have better motors on your quadcopter. So I'm going to put different options. That way, if your budget is a little bit over 150, you can go a little bit better on certain things on your quadcopter. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. So the base of it all is going to be our frame. You have to have a frame. This is a carbon fiber frame by TBS, and you may be familiar with the Source 1, but this is the Source 1 V5. It is the version 5 of this frame. So the next part of our build is going to be the stack. This is your brain. This is where all the magic happens with inside the quadcopter. You need electronic speed controller, which is an ESC, and you need a flight controller, which is the brain of the operation that is computing and doing all the inputs and everything that's going on when your drone is flying through the sky. What I have here is the Access Flying Eco 55 amp F405. Very, very impressive. For 60 bucks, I mean, they're calling it Eco because it's the economized line, but it's an eco line, so it's saving you money. But 55 amps F405, we got XT60 connector, we've got everything we could ask for 60 bucks. Next up is going to be our motors. So what I went with was the DYS shoes. These are really cool motors, and they are 2306 1750 kV. The kV matters depending on your battery. I am going to be running a 6L battery, so I went with a lower kV. If you're going to run a 4S battery, stay somewhere between 2100 and 2500, somewhere in there. If you're 6S, anywhere from 1700 up to 1900, you'll be just fine. The higher the number, the faster the quad. Faster's not always better. You don't want it too jumpy or too crazy. So keep an eye on that. I know some of the newer pilots are going, faster is higher? I'll take 10,000 kV. No, don't do that. All right, next up and most important is going to be our video. You may have different goggles than me. You may be flying DJI. You may be flying Fat Shark avatars. Whatever your deal is, you'll put your video to those specs. I, for this build, am going to build an analog build because this is an entry quadcopter for the beginner for only 150 bucks. So I went with the SpeedyBee TX800. This is 800 milliwatts of analog video being pumped out. And I mean, look at this. Absolutely gorgeous. You can't beat it. And then also with your video, you're going to need a camera. My camera is the Foxeer Razor Micro. I went 4x3 because that's what I like. And this guy is literally 17 bucks. Can't beat it. All right, last and final thing is going to be based off your radio. What kind of radio are you running? I don't know what you have. Mine is the Radio Master TX16S. This is a very nice radio, and I have an ELRS module in the back. So for my receiver, I'm going to run this guy. It is an ELRS receiver. You can get any brand, any make, any model, any size, any shape of ELRS. They're literally going to cost you anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks, and it will run super fast and super far with an amazing low latency link. That's up to you what you run. I'm going to run this guy. And then, of course, like any quadcopter, you're going to need 3D prints. So I jumped on a Thingiverse, I typed in this frame, and look at that. there was loads and loads of options. I even printed multiples of the same thing. So you have this foot option, or you have this foot option, or this foot option. So you have many, many options. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up our frame. And we're going to get our frame built. And as you can see, this is very, very simple. You have a bottom plate, mid plate, you've got a top plate, you've got your battery pad, you've got your camera plates, 4 arms, and then the screws to put it together with the standoffs. This is going to be very simple. As you can see, while building the frame, there's an important part we need to stop and take care of. You want to look at your stack. If you're building the same one as me, it'll be 30 by 30. But as you can see, there are 2 main sizes when doing electronics, ESC flight controller. This one is 30 by 30, and if I hold it over here, you can see those holes line up perfectly. This one, 20 by 20. If I hold it over here, you can see those holes line up perfectly. And the reason why this is important is because we need to have screws that extend out far enough to hold our stack. So I'm going to jump into our stack just a bit, not to go too far ahead, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this open, and be careful you don't cut any of your electronics. And what I want to do is slide this out, and you can see I've got ESC flight controller right there, and they are both 30 by 30 mounting. Very, very important for us to know. And I'm going to jump into this bag of goodies that they give us. And almost every stack comes with this stuff. So jump into your stack and pull it out, or if you have the same stack as me, then you know it's there. And I'm going to reach into this bag, and I'm going to pull out the 4 mounting screws. Look how big they are. And I'm going to save this for later because we're not ready to mount our stack yet, but I am preparing for the future. So our frame is going to go together like this with the arms pinched in the center. I need to make sure that I use these long screws to mount here, so that way my 30 by 30 can slide on. Hopefully that makes sense. Once I put it together, you'll probably understand a little bit more. So I'm going to go ahead and finish putting this frame together. I wanna lose your love tonight. Alright pilots, so with our frame done, the next thing and the very first thing we want to put on our frame is going to be our stack. The most important plug is going to be this one. You want to find this plug. Whatever stack you're running, if it doesn't come already connected together, you need to find this plug. This is your jumper that is going to connect everything flight controller to everything ESC. Alright, before I commit to this layout, I want to grab my VTX and I want to just set it here to see what kind of space we got. So I'm going to open this up, and this is a beautiful, beautiful VTX. Look at that. It's got this aluminum glow. You've got your PCB board, MMCX connector, and then your pin layout right here with an option to plug it in. Super nice, super cool. Look at that. Oh my God, does that fit like a glove or what? Look at that. Oh, I love it. I'm going to grab my capacitor. It's very important you put your capacitor on. So you're going to want to check your capacitor. You're going to see this negative line or this gray strip, and if I flip it over, I have nothing here. That lets me know this is positive and this is negative. So now I'm going to drop it in. And I'm going to bend it forward. Boom. Now let's go ahead and tin these pads, and then we're going to go ahead and install our XT60 connector. So I'm going to rotate this to the side just to hold it for me is really all I'm doing. I'm going to grab my soldering iron, and you can run your iron on what you want. I turn mine as high as it'll go, which is about 800. When you're doing smaller joints, then sure, you can turn it down. But this bigger stuff, you want to turn your iron all the way up. I'm going to tin each pad. All right, there's positive. I'm going to rotate and go for negative. Okay, now we're going to grab our XT60 connector, and we're going to make sure we go negative and positive. Positive, make sure it cools down, and then negative around the back side. Make sure it cools down, and boom, negative and positive are done, wrapped around and looking good. Okay, so to mount the VTX, you'll notice I have solder pads right here, and then I also have antenna right here. Those are bare metal, so that means if I lay that flat on the carbon, I'm likely to create some kind of conductivity and create some problems. So I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to grab a little double-side sticky tape. And I want to go ahead and put that over this so I can prevent those from touching. And I'll drop my screws in first. One there and one there. So not only am I already mounted, this really ain't coming off. I don't need to do any more. But just to be extra strong and know that I'm not going to have any issues, I'm going to come underneath and I'm going to put nylon lock nuts. We're ready to move on to the next step, and that is going to be to put our motors on. So anybody who's curious in these, you can buy many motors in many colors and shapes and designs. You name it, it keeps on going. So I'm going to go ahead and open one up here with you. And these are the DYS shoes. They're literally 13 bucks. And they're awesome. Look at that. How cool is that? They're red color, and you can feel that the bell is very thick. The only thing that I'm not a big fan of is you'll notice right here this line. You have the red top half, and then you have the black bottom half. That means that this motor bell is made out of 2 sections. We really don't want that if we don't have to. We want unibell if we can, because that is the strongest motor you're going to find. But for the sake of our budget build, this is going to work just fine. My initial thought, or the way this is supposed to work, is this is supposed to go right here. But I figured, why not go underneath? Now, when I mount my motor, I'm going to be doing what's called self-mounting. Look at that. So when I put my motor on, it's going to be self-mounted. You know why? Because it's sitting on the 3D print. And then we put our skid on the bottom. There it is. If you're interested, I'll put links down in the video description. This allows you to self-mount your motors and still put a skid underneath. So let's grab our motor and go through and spin it up. And you don't want your screws too long. Be careful. All right, so that is one motor mounted. If you don't have 3D printing, that's okay. You don't have to have it. I just like it because now my motor's self-mounted and I have a skid on the bottom. So when I land, I'm not tearing up my motor screws. I'm not tearing up my arms. I mean, everything is protected and covered. It's a nice touch. So, all right, so that is one motor on and done. I'm going to go ahead and get the others on, and then we'll meet back here. All right, pilots, all 4 motors are on and looking good. So the next step is to go ahead and solder them up, and this part's pretty simple, pretty easy. If you have a pair of snips, now's the time to use them. Go ahead and hold them like that, and then I'll come in, I'll cut those 2, and then cut that 1, 2, and 3. Now you just simply grab some tweezers, grab your wire, go ahead and solder. So there's 1 and 3. So from here we have a couple options. We can use electrical tape, we can use double-side sticky tape, or you can just use some zip ties. Or if you have 3D printing, I'll go ahead and put the file for you. You can print a couple caps like this, which are really cool because then your colors match. And what you do is you just plop this on just like that. What's cool about that is you get your protection, but it also looks cool because it matches your colors, but your motor wires are protected because your propeller is going to be spinning here, and if it gets bent and drops down and hits, this will protect it. So it's a nice little touch. You don't have to do it. You can just use electrical tape or zip ties or whatever. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hit all 4 motors, and then we'll meet back here. Woo! So now that we have everything soldered up and ready to go, we are ready to mount our flight controller. So I'm going to go ahead and just stick it on for now. We're not going to lock it down just yet because you'll notice underneath we've got all kinds of plugs. We've got solder pads up here, so we will see which ones we utilize. And we're ready for our receiver. So I've got my receiver set up, and this is ELRS. I'm going to twist her up. We're going to set that there. Here's our camera. Let's go ahead and crack this open. This way we know what connections we need to make. Bam! So here's our camera. And our camera's going to go right here. So with our flight controller came this plug right here. We have our camera, 5-volt control and cam. So that literally just plugged in. Let me show you guys how to wire this. So we're going to grab our soldering iron. And for our VTX, so we're going to go 5 volts, ground, video out. We'll start with 5 volts. That's going to be your red wire. We'll take our black wire and go to ground. Then we'll take our green wire and we will go to, and you can go to any TX you want. You just want to keep track of which one you're going to. My video is going to be on TX1. And then your final wire, which is yellow, that's going to be your actual video wire. Next up is going to be our ELRS receiver. And it's the same exact concept. Power, ground, and then a UART. And then we need to plug in our MMCX antenna. Holy cow, that gave me a run for my money. Okay. And that's the name of the game. Trying to finagle everything, huh? And then we double side there, bring that over. Five volt. Ground. Then we need RX, which is the green one. And then we need TX, which is the white one. Bang, bang, boom. Now we just need to mount our camera, which is super easy. We're going to put in our mounting plates like this. Boom. All right, now to power this on, we are going to use a power supply. I built this power supply, and if you're interested in building your own power supply, I'll put a link for you down in the video description. Boom. So as you'll see, ELRS is flashing, VTX is flashing, camera's most likely on. Motor's made all the sounds that it's supposed to make. This is what you want. And then your top plate. That's a hell of a drone for 150 bucks. Solid tank. All right, pilots, a 2024 budget build, $150 drone, sick as can be. We went through it all. We did it all. Now we're about to take it to the sky. I hope that you guys had as much fun as I did. I hope that you guys will use the links down in the video description, and I'll put some substitutes and some other options if you want to upgrade or do what you want to do. I'll have it all down there. You guys go ahead and check it out. I hope that you had as much fun as I did, and I will see you on the next one.
My decision, this ambition, everything comes out bland. Look for mystery, if you kiss me, I'll throw my fist in the air. And I'll fight for what is right. You need to make your life feel pretty tight, yeah. All this distance, read my system, Lord, I wish it made sense. You're the difference between my wish list and me wishing it would end. So I'll fight for whatever right. You need to make your life feel like a really, really good time. I don't wanna let you down again. I don't wanna let you down again. I'd hate myself if I let you down again. Promise I won't let you down again. Like a sail or a kite, I'ma let the wind decide. As long as you are by my side, no, I'll be alright, no, I'll be alright. If I'm wrong, if I'm right, I'ma let the wind decide. As long as you're by my side, no, I'll be alright, no, I'll be alright. Swish, swish, like a big fish in a petri dish. When you're leaning for a kiss, I feel like a king. I'll take whatever you're offering. I just wanna be in your company. This girl is kite. I'ma let the wind decide. As long as you're by my side. No, I'll be alright, no, I'll be alright, yeah. If I'm wrong, if I'm right, I'ma let the wind decide. As long as you're by my side. No, I'll be alright, no, I'll be alright, yeah. I don't wanna let you down again. I don't wanna let you down again. I hate myself if I let you down again. Promise I won't let you down again. Like a sail or a kite, I'ma let the wind decide. As long as you're by my side. No, I'll be alright, no, I'll be alright, yeah. If I'm wrong,